Hey guys, better be careful. The eBay VeRO police are out in full force. Hello and welcome back into the channel, everyone. If you are a new viewer, my name is Andrew, and along with my wife Jessica, we run a full-time online reselling business named 5 Little Ducks Resale. And during the course of our business, we go to garage sales, thrift stores, and estate sales. We find items for cheap, and then we flip those items online for a profit on sites like eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark. Before we get into this week's sales, I wanted to relay a quick story about a eBay VeRO that I recently had. So I actually did another eBay VeRO video a number of months back, but this one actually caught me by surprise, so I wanted to definitely bring it to your attention. So on the last video, I went through a number of companies that would flag your listings if you were to be selling things like cosmetics or makeup overseas. So the other morning I got up and I was checking my eBay email when I noticed this. Your listing was removed. VeRO unauthorized item policy. So I knew that something had flagged the eBay system, and so I was reading down into the body of the message, and it turns out that it was a name that I was already familiar with, but not from VeRO. The name was Ravensburger. That name might sound familiar as it is a fairly well-known jigsaw puzzle manufacturer. And so the item that actually was flagged looked like this. And yes, this is the listing from Mercari where it's currently still listed, but as you can see, this box doesn't say Ravensburger anywhere on it. In fact, it looks like there was a bunch of Chinese information written on the box. So I did a little bit of digging online, and sure enough, I actually found this image on the Ravensburger website. And so here it is. It's actually one of the smaller size puzzles that they offer. So here's kind of what I think had happened. So I'm pretty sure this third-party Chinese company found that space image online, decided that they were going to try to make a jigsaw puzzle out of it, and so they produced this puzzle overseas, and somehow it probably got sold to a US customer. My guess, it was probably sold on Amazon or some cheap imitation store or something like that. So regardless, my wife and I probably found it at either a garage sale or a thrift store where we thought it was new and sealed, and not knowing that this was a Ravensburger image to begin with, we purchased it and listed it as is. So obviously it was flagged by Ravensburger, and I found out through my own research that this in fact was a real Ravensburger image, and of course I wouldn't relist this on eBay even if I thought that I had every right to do so. Obviously I don't want to do anything to my account, and I want to stay in good standing, of course. Now, I'm not a lawyer and I don't even choose to play one on TV, but I can't imagine that I would get in trouble for selling this even third or fourth hand. I think that illegality really came in with the company that manufactured this thing, because they were the ones that stole the image of the puzzle to begin with. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to go through the hassle of fighting eBay on this. I'm going to leave it as is, and I'm glad that I just didn't get a strike on my account. That was a new company to me. I didn't realize that Ravensburger went out and policed the eBay listings. So definitely, if you're going to be listing jigsaw puzzles in the future, be sure that if it's one of those weird third-party puzzles, that you do your due diligence. So with that, let's go ahead and transition over to the sales for this portion of the video. Now, these sales were from our eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark stores from roughly February 4 to February 10, which, as I'm recording this video, is last week. Starting off the list, ironically, was a puzzle. This was a fresh-baked apple cherry pie from Puzzlebug. This 500-piece puzzle sold for $3.99 plus shipping. This next sale was kind of interesting. This actually was for 2 Dudley Bostwick Lighthouse prints. These actually came from my father. He gave them to me shortly before he passed, as he just wanted to start getting rid of things and thought that they might sell on eBay. And so they have been listed for quite some time. But I got a message the other day from someone claiming that he was a relative of this artist, Dudley Bostwick. He relayed a story through the eBay message system that Dudley used to attend his family reunions back in the day, and he never got a chance to own some of his artwork. Now, whether or not that story is legit, I mean, it sounded like it was, but who am I to say? So I cut the guy a good deal and ended up taking an offer on both of these prints for $15 plus combined shipping. The next item was from our Lego Mania sale, but it wasn't Lego, surprisingly. This was a PDP Pixel Pals Legend of Zelda Link 8-bit light-up figure. This ended up selling for $19.99 plus shipping. This next item was found at a Goodwill bins, so we paid pennies on the dollar for it. This was actually a really nice vintage Angelon by Darlene French Angora rabbit wool sweater with small pearl buttons. We ended up taking a best offer of $37.19 plus shipping. The next item was also from the Lego Mania sale. This was a DC Universe Justice League Unlimited 2009 Captain Cold loose figure, and he sold for $34.99 plus shipping. The next item up was a really good sale, also from Lego Mania. This was that pair of vintage Cambridge glass opaque purple or helio Doric column candlesticks. These together sold for $179.99 plus shipping. The next sale was again from the Lego Mania haul. This was a Star Wars Octoptura droid. It was from Star Wars The Clone Wars. It was a Walmart exclusive with the toy and the box, and it sold for $64.99 plus shipping. The next sale was from, can you guess? Yes, it was from the Lego Mania sale. This was
Moss Eisley Spaceport. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yes, indeed, Ben. It was the Lego Moss Eisley Cantina. It was 100% complete with figures, manual, and box, and it sold for $139.99 plus shipping. Next up, we had a personal consignment sale. This was from my youngest daughter, Melina, and this was a Vera Bradley leopard print trifold snap close wallet, and it sold for $12.99 plus shipping. Next up was a Transformers. This was Rat Trap from the War for Cybertron Kingdom series. This sold for $9.99 plus shipping. Next up was a pair of sneakers. These were men's 9.5 Puma Hot Wheels tie-in black and blue running shoes. These sold for $59.99 plus shipping. Now, if I remember correctly, I picked these shoes up as well as another pair, almost identical, but in another colorway, at a neighbor's garage sale. I think we paid probably $5 each for the pair, and they were a little long tail, but I'm glad they finally both have sold. The next item was this set of 9 Cambridge stainless steel Allure pattern solid handle dinner knives. These sold for $19.99 plus shipping. Following that, we had this Chronicles of Narnia, the complete series by C.S. Lewis from 2001 trade paperback. This sold for $8.99 plus shipping. The next item was this Railroad Logos snapback baseball hat featuring Union Pacific, Mopac, MKT, and Northwestern. This sold for $14.99 plus shipping. The next item was from our Gina consignment lot. This was a pair of Granimal shorts, size 7 in green camo. These sold for $6.99 plus shipping. Next up was this New Recollections 27-piece rubber stamp set featuring elegant alphabet letters. This sold for $4.99 plus shipping. Next up, we had a pair of Sanrio Hello Kitty postcard invites and thank you cards. Together, these sold for $8.99 plus shipping. Next up was another long tail item. This was a new in-box Tuscan Hills Cherry Blossom Body Care 3-piece set, which sold for $6.99 plus shipping. Next up was a recent Goodwill bins pickup. This was a set of 5 Five Nights at Freddy's paperback books, which sold for $12.99 plus shipping. This next item was kind of a unique pickup. This was a Caesar's Palace branded lightweight maroon jacket, and it sold for $12.99 plus shipping. Following that was this set of 3 IKEA Mopsig pattern oval soup spoons, and these sold for $6.99 plus shipping. This next item was also a fairly unique item. This was a vintage 1978 Russian USSR Constitution mini hardcover book. It sold for $24.99 plus shipping. I actually picked this book up as well as a bunch of other Russian/Soviet literature at an estate sale. All of these items were actually in the free bin because I don't think anyone wanted to take the time to actually look up to see what they were. So I picked out the pieces that I thought would probably sell eventually, and this was actually the first of the bunch to sell. But I picked up probably 8 or 10 things for completely free. So I'll take that any day. Give me a bunch of free stuff and I'll sell it online. The next item was this men's unbranded size large NFL football windbreaker jacket, and it sold for $18.99 plus shipping. The next item came from the Lego Mania sale. This was the Lego Star Wars set number 75137, the Carbon Freezing Chamber. It was 100% complete with figures, manual, and box, and it sold for $44.99 plus shipping. Next up, we had this vintage Vivitar 52mm soft 3 effect screw-in camera filter. This sold for $5.99 plus shipping. And the last eBay sale of this video was actually featured in the last video. This was that vintage 1983 Kenner Care Bear Good Luck Bear, and he sold for $22.99 plus shipping. So eBay certainly takes the cake for last week's sales because between Mercari and Poshmark, there are only 4 remaining sales. So not very good on those platforms. But ironically, the first item from Mercari was also another puzzle. So this was a sealed Albuquerque Balloon Festival puzzle. We ended up taking a best offer of $6 plus shipping. Following that, we had this Play School Heroes Marvel Spider-Man action figure with leg squeeze action. We ended up taking a best offer of $6 on this item, plus shipping. And rounding out Mercari was this 2003 Fozzie Bear Banana Phone Jack-in-the-Box Kids Meal Toy. Took a best offer for $3.75 plus shipping. And rounding out today's video with the one and only Poshmark sale was the new old stock Alfani Women's Potenza black leather single strap hobo shoulder purse. Took a best offer from Poshmark for $11 plus shipping. Well, just like that, we have reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you like this sort of content, if you wouldn't mind perhaps liking this video and even consider subscribing to the channel, it really does help us out. So with that, thank you again so much, and I'll see you next time.